Welcome to OTR, a friendly debate podcast where lawyers debate everything from pop culture to philosophy. We're here at Maggie Daly Park, Ice Ribbon here. Going to do a mini topic for today. It's going to be best on-screen Santa Claus. Here's a question though. What kind of Santas count? Does bad Santa count? Do the Santas from reindeer games count? I don't know.
I think the Santas from Bad Santa and reindeer games, those don't count because those are really people in the role-playing characters pretending to be Santa or playing like a mall Santa or dressing up in Santa outfits. That's not portraying Santa.
I mean, are you telling me mall Santa isn't real?
Yeah, he's one of his helpers, you know? That's the lore. But I think, Tim Allen as Santa Claus in the Santa Claus movies, or Kurt Russell in those newer, I can't remember the names of those newer Christmas movies.
And they just like Claus or something, yeah.
And then you got the old animated Rankin Bass ones, Rudolph and Year Without a Santa.
Yeah. No, that's one of my favorites. Not the one I'm talking about today, but definitely one of my favorites.
We've got Pat debating. We've got Mucci debating. And I'm going to be the judge. Guys, who are your favorite Santa Clauses? And what are they in? Are they in anything else?
Yeah, so my favorite Santa, maybe an unconventional choice, is Jack Skellington from A Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I think he's an actual Santa, based on your criteria, because he's got skeletal reindeer and he delivers presents like shrunken heads.
Yeah,
so I think
like creepy presents.
Yeah, I don't think we need to get into the criteria, but I think he's solidly in the Santa Claus aspect of it. But.
Okay. My favorite Santa is the original Miracle on 34th Street Santa, Edmund Gwenn. 1947 version of that movie.
Not the new
version.
one?
Right. The newer one, Richard Attenborough plays Santa. And that gets to my point. I'll get to that point in a second, but I think as a character actor who's been in he's 90 other IMDb credits for his acting, including like Pride and Prejudice. He's in the horror movie Them. He's in a movie called The Walking Dead, not anything to do with the comics or the show,
God.
but it was from like the 1940s or something. But he is most notable for this role. In fact, his IMDb page profile picture is him as Santa Claus. So, unlike other actors who have portrayed Santa, like Tim Allen or Kurt Russell, it's hard not to see them as Tim Allen playing Santa, Kurt Russell playing Santa. But for him, because you don't know him from anywhere else, he is able to disappear into the role so easily that he just is Santa. It's so easy to see him as Santa. Even in the remake, the Richard Attenborough, produced by John Hughes remake, film remake, he is played by Richard Attenborough, so you see that. So you see, the guy that owns Jurassic Park. So, is he going to say, like, welcome to the North Pole? Is that, so I just think you get this actor who's known for this one role, disappears into it, and it's just that iconic role played by an iconic person in that way. Because he's not an actor playing a role, he can, it feels like he can disappear into the role of Santa.
Yeah, so Chris Sarandon voices Jack Skellington. Again, Night Before Christmas came out in 1993. Chris Sarandon might be better known for his role in the mid-'80s as Prince Humperdinck, the villain of The Princess Bride. So yeah, you were quoting his lines earlier. Really plays the heel, the villainy asshole aspect of it. And so yeah, I mean, he doesn't have like a prolific career necessarily, but I think in this role he captures what it means to be a good voice actor.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your Santa. What's he do?
So there are a couple of things that get to me about Jack Skellington's role as Santa in Nightmare Before Christmas. I think one of them...
Sandy Claus, though.
Sandy Claus. Yeah. So one of the things... This is more about the movie, I guess, but longtime listeners will know I'm a huge fan of stop motion. And the whole movie is stop motion, and that allows Jack Skellington to have like these very elegant motions and things. Mm-hmm. And he's very graceful, and so I love that, seeing him really act the character like act into the role of Santa, but in a much different way than your typical jolly,
Yeah.
fluffy Santa.
Extremely skinny Santa.
Yeah, right.
Stick thin.
Yeah. One of the other things, though,
Exactly.
one of the other things is that he has this reinterpretation, like you said, Santa Claus, reinterpretation of what it means to have Christmas. And so, he has his, just like Santa has his workshop, Jack Skellington has his own town, or lives in Halloween Town,
Halloween Town,
led by the mayor. Whatever. We're going to get nitpicked by Tim Burton fans on this one.
And they know how to nitpick.
Yeah, but he leads the town in the celebration, but still listens to them. And, usually the, Santa as a leader is him and his workshop of elves who are completely subordinate. But there's a more I think, interaction between what the townspeople think Christmas is versus like what Jack Skellington had kind of learned.
And with the real Santa in that movie is like baffled by what Jack is trying to do and is like horrified by it. And he gets kidnapped by the
the kids taking the
the Oogie Boogie.
Speaking of stop motion, though, you get to see this big plump Santa like jiggling around in stop motion. That's great.
Yeah, Santa almost looks grotesque in that movie.
Yeah. So one last thing, really quick. The concept, I guess, of Night Before Christmas is that there's these different portals, different towns for each different holiday.
Yeah.
And so Jack's character becomes Santa Claus, or learns about it, because he has this sort of vision quest in the woods, perhaps a little disillusioned by Halloween, has that search for meaning and finds that in Christmas. So he plays like an outsider to it, but then, really embraces like the Christmas spirit as he thinks of it.
Yeah.
The real world implication here is that Nightmare Before Christmas is obviously a big proponent of keeping different holidays compartmentalized. And that's another reason why you shouldn't hear you shouldn't hear Christmas music before Thanksgiving.
There's a Thanksgiving town in the trees, right?
Oh yeah,
there's one. Okay, I thought
it's
so,
separate from
There's
Christmas.
like a leaf. I think
it's not just a Halloween holiday. It's its own thing.
I would agree with that.
And again, you shouldn't have the Christmas music prior to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So tell me about your Santa. Any sequels, any remakes, anything else that we want to know about him?
Yeah, Miracle on 34th Street has been remade a few times, mostly TV movie remakes. There was the theatrical remake that I mentioned earlier, and there was like a stage play production of it. But the original, I haven't seen any of the remakes, but if you look on... Thanks. If you look on IMDb for the remakes, they're all like drama, family movie, drama, holiday movie. The original... The first thing you see is comedy, and it is a solid comedy. So,
how does Santa play into that comedy, though?
Well, so the first thing he does as Santa is Kris Kringle is what he's named in the movie. Is goes up to the Santa that is supposed to be in the Thanksgiving Day parade, who is just like drunk out of his mind, and he's like mad at the guy because he's like, the kids are supposed to look up to you. You're supposed to be a representative of me, and you're like making us look bad. Like you should be ashamed of yourself. So after like scolding the guy, and like revealing to Macy's that that's what's going on, he sort of gets hired on to be, the Santa in the float.
Mm-hmm.
And and then eventually gets hired on by Macy's to be their in-store Santa.
Right.
So I shared this article earlier about how it's kind of like an anti-capitalist satire.
We love a good anti-capitalist satire.
And what he does as Santa is when kids go up to him and they want a specific toy, as a Macy's employee, essentially, he's supposed to, if something's not in stock, sell them something else or recommend something else that Macy's owns. Instead, he's like, we don't have that, but Gimbals has it. You should go there and get it. And at first, like, Macy's is like horrified, but then customers start going up and saying, that was so appreciated. I really appreciated that he recommended another store. Like, you have a customer for life. So now I see it's a good business decision for him to be doing that.
Yeah, so some people might not know that The Nightmare Before Christmas started because of a Tim Burton poem he wrote at Disney in like 84 or something, sorry, 82. It's actually kind of a long poem, but now it is a children's like storybook with illustrations and stuff. It's apparently really scary.
Wow, okay, cool.
So I got to see if it'd be appropriate for my one nephew.
Yeah.
Because I think I might get it.
Okay.
So there's no sequels to it, but there is a book. You got any little titty bitties?
Yes. Yeah, my tidbit was that there is what has to be a reference in Seinfeld to Miracle on 34th Street, and as I mentioned earlier, Santa is employed by Macy's and is talking to children. And there's one moment when he's doing that this little girl comes up and she speaks only Dutch. She doesn't speak any English, and he's like, "Oh, that's all right," and speaks to her in Dutch. And in the movie, basically what they say to each other is that she already got her gift because she got adopted, and it's like this kind of cute moment. But in Seinfeld, Kramer is the skinny department store Santa, and
Scary like Jack Skellington.
Yeah, skinny like Jack Skellington as well. But it's also the episode where he starts becoming a communist. But in addition to that, there's a moment that I think has to be a reference to this movie, where there's a little girl that comes up, and her guardian says, "Oh, she doesn't speak any English." And Kramer goes, "Oh, Santa speaks the language of all children. Undorchy, worchy, dirty, do." Just horrifying the kid and her mother. They just like are rushed off.
I think this is a tie. This has been OTR Friendly Debate.